Salford is in the northwest of the United Kingdom. It was the home of Britain's first industrial revolution, shown here in L.S. Lowry's image of Greater Manchester's dark Satanic Mills. This development in Salford's early heyday was used more than a century and a half ago as the basis for Japan's own Renaissance. Now, in the 21st century, Salford is again leading a modern-day urban renaissance as it begins to transform itself into the UK's knowledge capital. Here we see the new Salford with its Lowry development, a modern cultural centre within which is housed the paintings of L.S. Lowry. This building also now acts as the hub of a whole new media city and a focus of advanced knowledge economy development for the UK as a whole. This new prowess has recently been recognised by the British Broadcasting Corporation, commonly known as the BBC, who are in the process of moving some 50% of their future developments into what is known as Salford's Media City. Our concept of a media city is quite different in nature to that of its predecessors, with its distributed learning and cultural networks reaching out to the world, as an interactive means of garnering and delivering new opportunities. It truly is the start of an exciting virtual linkage between our city region and the world. Our new learning region will strive to use the most advanced digital technologies available to network media connections between differently creative talents. It will also provide a range of satellite places across the city region where this talent can meet in forums for discussion. It will drive talent to develop into the new creative teams. It will also enable learning organisations to be created having an ease of media conversation only possible in the knowledge economy. In our media city, we will be creating the equivalent of the Greek agora. In our case, an e-agora. So Salford is transforming itself using the best technical processes of the 21st century into a modern learning city region. Once the right context has been set for such collective learning, I believe everything is possible. In my own life, I was an 11 plus failure, but was also lucky enough to go to one of Britain's first comprehensive schools. Here, personal tuition from the very best teachers coached me into a love of learning and indeed eventually to the present keynote. Similarly, my son Matthew, because of a perceptual reading disorder which was only recognised when he was 15, found his early schooling impossible. Quite simply, he could not easily read the small printed text presented to him at school. As a result, understanding the written word proved extremely difficult to him. So rather, he opted out of traditional learning and moved on to vocational world of catering. The turning point in his learning life came when a much respected chef who was teaching him a new cooking process one day actually called him chef because of the new skills he was showing. He liked being called chef and the status it gave him. From then on, he went from being impossible to teach to becoming an avid learner, surrounding himself in thousands and thousands of cookbooks, DVDs and blogs on all aspects of cooking excellence. He is now one of the foremost head chefs in the UK, all because he welcomed the recognition of being called a chef, and as a result started to embark on his own higher academic enterprise to become a master chef. Turning to my own university's higher academic enterprise, a typical project in Salford's repertoire within the city of Salford itself has been the creation of the Salford Film Festival, a project produced in conjunction with local video makers. Some of my academic colleagues had found a short video production created by a local Salfordian, which had been shortlisted for a BAFTA, a British Oscar. This short, titled Angels, had never been premiered, so we formed a community enterprise partnership under the leadership of an interested, enterprising academic to create our own local premiere, with this video acting as the focus of everyone's attention. With backing from Albert Finney, Sir Ben Kingsley, Robert Powell and local MP Hazel Blurs, all Salfordians, we created the Salford Film Festival. It was held in the Red Cinema in Salford's Lowry outlet. And on the final day of our festival event, Angels was premiered to an audience of over 1,500 people. Not only was this significant itself, But the cinema became so popular as a result that its income improved dramatically, and as a result we were offered its use for 3 days a year for the next 5 years for future festivals. Furthermore, the cinema manager was so excited by the event and its effectiveness that he became a community entrepreneur in his own right. The festival is now in its 4th year of sponsorship, with hundreds of new short community videos being created, often mainly now backed by financial sponsors. More and more Salfordians now see themselves as being creative filmmakers in their own right, and are working with our university media school to learn how to be even better filmmakers. This is just one of my early examples of local citizens engaging in higher learning for local good, and is one of the many ways I believe universities can virtuously knowledge share in useful ways to drive a city region's renaissance. Another example of Salford's entrepreneurial activities relates to an enterprise development by one of our maternity nurse lecturers, Barbara Hastings Asaturian, designed to develop Contraception, the board game, to help young nurse trainees cope better with explaining to other young people how they could avoid unwanted pregnancies. Her way to do this was to let the young demonstrate best principles of safe use of contraception to themselves through a simple board game. Where parents had failed to appraise the young in the implications of unprotected sex, Barbara developed a game to embed important new attitudes and behaviours with respect to all aspects of contraception in a fun way to previously vulnerable young citizens. This development, originally adopted across all Salford schools, resulted in a significant reduction of local teenage pregnancies in the age group it was aimed at. The game has